You came to this video because your study permit is expiring soon, and yep, you are already freaking out. Relax, I'll show you exactly how to extend it step by step so you can stay and study in Canada without a single panic attack. Hello and namaste everyone. Welcome back to Mapalated for It, the channel that makes life easier for international students and newcomers in Canada. After watching this video, if you find this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more updates like this. Today we are talking about how to extend your study permit from inside Canada. Now listen carefully. Please apply as early as possible. Don't wait until the last few days, as IRCC processing times are getting longer and longer. Also, when you apply for a post-graduation work permit later, you must have a valid study permit when you apply. Otherwise, you won't be allowed to work while waiting for a decision. And that's a mistake many students regrets. Also, your new permit won't be issued past your passport's expiry date. So if your passport is expiring soon, renew that first. Now, here are the documents you will need to extend your study permit. Your proof of enrollment, recent transcript, scanned passport, digital photo, financial proof, your current study permit copy. Try not to skip any part of this video as I will discuss essential tips and the areas where you are most likely to make mistakes. So let's sign into the IRCC Secure account and start the application step by step. I assume you have login credentials for your IRCC Secure account. If you don't have one, or your representative, if you used one to apply for a study permit, didn't give it to you, don't worry. You can make one. You can register using a GC key or a sign-in partner and also link your previous applications. After signing in, you can see this interface on your IRCC Secure portal. Scroll down and click on Apply to come to Canada. Scroll down again and click on Visitor Visa Study or Work Permit tab button. Then some questions will appear and we need to answer this. So let's do it together. What would you like to do in Canada? Select Study. How long are you planning to stay in Canada? Select temporarily more than 6 months. Select the code that matches the one on your passport. Means select the country that issued your passport. What is your current country or territory of residence? Select Canada. Do you have a family member who is a Canadian citizen or PR and is over 18? Answer accordingly and enter your date of birth. Click on Next. Do you have a provincial or territorial attestation letter or meet an exemption from submitting a PAL or TAL? Click on the question mark to know more about this. As per the new rule of IRCC, a PAL is required to apply for a study permit. But since we are applying for an extension, we are exempt from needing a PAL. You can check when you need a PAL and when you don't by clicking on the given links. I will also provide the link to this video's description so you can check it by yourself. Here under Who doesn't need a PAL or TAL, you can see you have entered Canada and one of the following situations applies to you. Here you can see if you are applying for a study permit extension at the same DLI and level of study as your current study permit, you don't need a PAL. But if you go on the top and see who needs a PAL or TAL, right here you can see you must get a new PAL or TAL before you apply if you are changing your schools or if you are changing your level of studies. That means if you are moving from post-secondary level to the graduate level or from graduate level to post-secondary level, you need to get a new Provincial Attestation Letter. But in our case right now, we are just applying for the extension with the same DLI and same level of study. We're gonna select yes, I meet an exception from submitting a provincial or territorial attestation letter and click next. Are you a lawful permanent resident of US? Select no. What is your current immigration status in Canada? As we are a student right now, select student. What is your marital status? Select your marital status, married or single. What is your province or territory of destination? Just select the province you are residing in right now. Click next. So right here, we can see we are eligible to apply for two different options. One is study permit in Canada and another is temporary resident visa. Temporary resident visa is the visa that allows you to enter Canada. So when you first apply for your study permit, you have a sticker on your passport that has an expiry date. In most cases, your TRB expires when your study permit expires. So if you are traveling outside Canada, you need a temporary resident visa to come back to Canada. Once your study permit extension gets approved, you can apply for TRB. If you want help in applying for TRB in future, we can make a separate video about it as well. Just comment down if you need one. But for now, just select study permit in Canada and continue with it. Click continue again. Are you accompanying a family member who has status in Canada? Select no. Do you also want to apply for a work permit? Select no. Select yes only if you are applying for co-op work permit. Otherwise select no and click next. When does your status in Canada expire? Enter the expiry date of your study permit, your current study permit. Now, have you had a medical exam performed by an IRCC authorized panel physician doctor within last 12 months? So if you did a medical exam in last 12 months, select yes, otherwise select no. So it says a medical exam is needed before you submit your application for foreign nationals. If you want to stay in Canada for more than 6 months and if you have lived in one or more designated countries or territories for more than 6 months in the past year. Or also if you intend to work in following jobs. So if this applies to you, you have to select yes. But if you select no, there will be a condition imposed on your study permit that won't allow you to work in following categories of job as displayed in here. If you think you're gonna work in these kinds of job in future, you just select yes and you have to do a medical exam or you may be exempted from needing one. So we're gonna talk about it in a bit. Select next for now. So it is asking, will you be getting a medical exam before submitting your application? So it is asking if we are going to do upfront medical. So select yes and click next. If you selected no in the previous question, you won't get this question. Means you don't have to do a medical exam. So the next question is, do you want to submit an application for a family member? If you are submitting an application for the family member as well, you just select yes, otherwise no and click on next. Are you giving someone access to your application? Select no as we are doing it by ourselves and click next. In the past 10 years, have you given your fingerprints and photo biometrics for an application to come to Canada? Select yes and click next. There are fees associated with the application. Select yes, I'll be paying my application fees. Next. Are you able to make a digital copy of your documents? Select yes and click next. And will you be paying your application fee online? Select yes, click next. So now it gives us a chance to review our answer. Review the answer thoroughly and check everything is entered correctly. Scroll down and click on continue. So these are the steps to follow to submit our application. Scroll down and click on continue. Now here comes the document checklist. We're gonna go through every documents one by one and prepare our documents including IMM form and upload it here. So first let's start with IMM 5709 form. Click on this and it will lead you to the download the form. Download the form and open from downloaded folder and let's start filling it up. First here UCI number. You can see the number on your study permit as I showed it on this picture right here. Get that number, enter here. Select I want service in English or French. I have selected English over here. Here I am applying for one or more of the following option. Tick on apply for a study permit for the first time or extend my study permit. Now enter your personal details like your full name, given name and family name. If you just have one name on your passport, just enter it on this family name section only. Coming down, have you ever used any other name? If you have, select yes, otherwise select no and come down. Enter your details like your gender, date of birth, your place of birth including your city and country, and your country of citizenship, current country or territory of residence. Right now we are in Canada and we have to select our status. Click over here and select student and enter the issue date and expiry date of your student permit. Coming down, previous countries or territories of residence. If you have lived in any other countries than your country of citizenship or your current country of residence, you have to fill out the information. If you haven't, select no and scroll down. Select your current marital status. If you are married, select married and you have to fill out your marriage date and name of your spouse. If you are single, select single and scroll down. Have you previously been married or in a common law relationship? If yes, select yes and provide the details. If no, select no and scroll down. Now language, select your native language or mother tongue and select which language are you comfortable to communicate in. I have selected English over here. Have you taken a test from a designated testing agency? Select yes. Now enter the details of your passport. Over here, your passport number, the country that issued your passport, issue date and expiry date. Even if you have renewed your passport from a different country through an embassy, you have to select the country which issued your passport, not the country from where you renewed your passport. So don't get confused on that. Scrolling down, national identity document. If you have a national identity document, select yes and provide details. If you don't have any, select no. Are you a US PR? Select no. Now the contact information. Provide your current mailing address. This is the address where you get your study permit extension paper. So fill this out correctly. Is your residential address same as your mailing address? If yes, select yes. Scrolling down. Now enter your phone number. Select a type here, cellular. Enter your phone number. If you have any alternative phone number, enter your alternative phone number over here. Enter your email address on this section here. Scroll down. Coming to Canada. Now it is asking the date and place of your original entry to Canada. That is when you first came to Canada. Enter the date that you landed in Canada and the place where you landed. For example, I have written Toronto Pearson Airport as it is the place where I first landed in Canada. Now the original purpose for coming to Canada. So we came to study here, that's why we select study. Now date and place of your most recent entry to Canada if not the same as original entry. If you went out of Canada after your first or original entry to Canada and came back, you have to enter the recent date on which you came to Canada and the place where you came. If you never left Canada after your first entry, you don't have to fill this up, just skip it. Now it is asking, if applicable, provide the document number of your most recent permit. So the document number is on your study permit paper as shown in the picture over here. You can enter that document number over here. Scrolling down, details of intended study in Canada. Here enter the name of the school. Select your level of study. You can select from options here. If it is college, diploma, university, doctorate, university, bachelor's or master's, whatever, you select what applies to you and choose your field of study. So you have options over here to choose from and choose your field of study. Similarly, complete address of your school, that is province, city, full address and designated learning institute number, the DLI number of your institute. If you don't know DLI number of your university or college, you can check it on the letter of acceptance that you got from your university or college, or you can follow the link I provided in the description box and choose your province, enter the name of your institution and you will get the DLI number. So enter the DLI number over here, enter your student ID number and here duration of your expected study. So there is a red box around here. It is because this date is the past date from today's date. You have to select today's date or the day after today's date, otherwise this won't accept it. So choose today's date in the from section and in the to section choose the date when you are expected to graduate. Scrolling down, the cost of my studies will be. So here enter the tuition fee that you have to pay to your university for remaining semesters. Enter the amount for room and boards. To get a reference here, you can check this website. The link will be in the description box again. So if you go through that link, you'll come to this website where it says proof of the financial support. So it says you must prove that you can support yourself and the family members who come with you while you are in Canada. So to get an idea of how much you should have beside your tuition fee, you can check this box. So how much money you need, all provinces and number of family members. For single person, the yearly fund required is 20,635 Canadian dollar excluding tuition fee. So this has updated after January 1, 2024. It was much lower before January 1, 2024. So you have to enter the amount here. I have entered 21,000, assuming I have one more year to complete my program. And in the other section, I just put 2,000. Now funds available for my stay in Canadian dollar. So your funds available should be greater than this fund combined together. That is your tuition, your room, and your other living expenses combined together. So when you show your financial proof later on, you should have more funds available than this fund. So right here, my expenses in Canada will be paid by who? Myself, parents, or other. If you have a scholarship, select other here and enter scholarship on this other box. If your parents are covering your expenses, just select parents. But if you are showing your siblings income as well and they are supporting you, just select other and enter parents and sibling over here. So I'm selecting parents for now. In addition to study permit, are you also applying for work permit? Click on no. Here, if you have been issued a PAL or TAL, provide the document number and expiry date. As I said earlier, we are exempt from needing one, so we don't have to fill anything over here. Scrolling down, education. Have you had any post-secondary education? So if you have done bachelor's degree from your home country and you came to Canada to do PG programs or certificate programs, click on yes and provide the details of your previous study. That is your bachelor's degrees information over here. If you came to Canada after your high school and this is your first university or college program, you have to provide the details of your current study. Just enter the start date of your current program, enter the field and level of study, your university's name, city, country, and province. You can leave these two sections as you are currently studying the same program. Now coming under the employment section, you have to provide the details of all the employment history from past 10 years. So enter all your employment history, include those as well that you are doing as a student right now, even those are part-time. Also include the employment history from your home country if you have any. So if you see here, there are only 3 boxes to provide your employment history. If you have more than 3 employment history and you couldn't fill all this over here, you can add more employment history on a separate page and upload it to client information section, which I will show you in a bit. Scrolling down, so this background information varies person to person and you have to answer it according what applies to you. But one thing to be careful over here is section 2. So section 2 is asking, have you ever remained beyond the validity of your status, attended a school without authorization or worked without authorized in Canada? So I have selected no over here. Have you ever been refused a visa or permit, denied entry or order to leave Canada or any other country or territory? If your visa got rejected, not only to Canada or any other country as well, you have to select yes and give the detailed answer in this box D over here. Similarly, question 2C is asking, have you previously applied to enter or remain in Canada? We have to select yes over here because we applied for our study permit to come to Canada, right? So box D is asking, if you answered yes to the question 2A, 2B or 2C, please provide details. So here I wrote, I applied for study permit to enter Canada and it was approved and issued on this date. and I entered the issue date of my study permit. Similarly, you continue with other background information question. Scrolling down, coming to the signature panel, it is asking, do you consent to be contacted by CIC? If you want, select yes. And over here on the signature panel, enter your full name and enter today's date. So after entering all this, you digitally sign this form. So you don't have to print it and sign it. So once everything is filled out, and make sure you double check everything, there is no any mistake, not any spelling mistake, not mistake in any dates or anything. If you are sure everything is filled out correctly, come down and click on validate. If your form doesn't have any error, like if you didn't miss any mandatory section or if you didn't messed up with any date, it will say validated completed successfully. You click on OK and it will generate barcode. Make sure your barcode is generated over here before you save this form. Now save this form. Now coming back to our IRCC secure account, we just finished filling out IMM 5709 form. So let's continue with our supporting documents. The first here is proof of provincial or territorial attestation letter exception. So if you click on this question mark, it says please upload a document showing the exception you meet. If you don't have a specific document that proves you meet one of the exceptions, please attach a letter of explanation to note how one of the exceptions applies to your situation. As I showed in the earlier section of the video, if you go to the study permit website of Government of Canada, under the Provincial Attestation Letter or Territorial Attestation Letter, there is a page where it says who doesn't need a PAL or TAL. As I explained it earlier, if you have entered Canada and you are applying for a study permit extension at the same DLI and the same level of study as your current study permit, you don't need a PAL. So for that, you have to write it in a letter explaining why you don't need a PAL. For example, I have written a letter here explaining why I meet the exception for PAL. As I showed from the website, I have written the same thing here. I wrote, I am continuing my studies at the same DLI and in the same academic program as indicated in my original permit, and that makes me exempt from needing a PAL. So I just wrote a letter. This is a sample. You can copy this as well and explain why you don't need a PAL. And what you can do is you can attach your original study permit on the second page of this PDF. So combine your PAL exemption letter and your study permit, the original study permit, combine them both together, and you have to upload it to the supporting document section of IRCC Secure Account portal. So the second section is passport. If you click on this, you can see you have to scan all the pages of your passport that shows your birthday, your country of origin, and any pages with stamp, visas or markings. So make sure you scan all those pages and upload it here. So next thing is letter of acceptance or letter of enrollment. If you click on this question mark on this second paragraph, you can see if you are a student applying to extend your study permit, please request the designated learning institute in Canada to issue you a letter of enrollment or registration. So the letter should include how long you have been studying at that institution and, if applicable, your expected graduation date. So you have to go to your university's or college registrar office and ask them to provide a letter of enrollment or registration. Get that letter and upload in this section here. So next one is proof of means of financial support. I assume many of you know what to include in this financial support section, as you did this while you apply for your study permit. You have to provide as many of these documents as you can. You can include your bank statements. You can also include your employment letter and pay stub from the job that you are currently doing as a student. If any family members like parents or siblings are supporting you and you are showing their assets and their income, make sure you include a letter of affidavit from them and upload it in this financial proof section. If you are taking a student loan or education loan, you can show that as well. And make sure your total combined financial funds should be greater than what you will be needing while you stay in Canada. Combine all the documents, as many as you can, and upload in this section. So the next one here is proof of upfront medical exam. As I told you earlier in the beginning of this video, if you are going to work in certain categories that require medical exam, you have to do it. But there is an exception. For in Canada applicants, they have a temporary public policy which they extended until October 5, 2029. Means if you meet all of these conditions listed over here, you are exempt from doing a medical exam. So if you applied or are applying for either permanent residence or temporary residence, we are applying for temporary residence here. You already live in Canada. You completed your previous IME in the last 5 years. Your previous IME indicated a low risk or no risk to public health or public safety. So if you did your medical in past 5 years before submitting this application and you are in Canada applicant, you are exempt from doing a medical exam. So this temporary public policy is until October 5, 2029. So this means you can use your old medical exam result and upload it in this section over here. But if you want to do a upfront medical anyway, you can find a panel of physicians following this link. I'll provide this link in the description again. So select your country. We are in Canada right now. So select Canada first and choose your province. So here you can find the list of panel physicians that are available in the province. You can go to any of these places and do your upfront medical. Get the result and upload it in the proof of upfront medical exam section here. So next one is digital photo. This is the specification that you need for the photo, but you can go to Staples or Shoppers and you can have your photo taken and upload it here. Now optional documents. The schedule 1 is for the applicant who is applying from outside Canada, so we can ignore this. The second option here is client information form. So this client information form is if you would like to provide more information about your application that you have not already provided, you can attach a letter of explanation to your application. So I would recommend you to write a letter of explanation saying why are you applying for this extension. For example, I have written a sample here where I am saying my current permit is set to expire September 2025. While my academic program is scheduled to be completed in May 2026. So I am writing I started my program on May 1, 2024 and I am currently studying. So I am applying to extend my permit to ensure that I remain in compliance with Canadian immigration laws and continue my studies legally in Canada. So this could be different in your case. You can explain what is the reason behind extending your study permit. For example, if you have taken a break during your studies, you should explain why you took a break, or if you are someone who deferred your semester, you have to explain it in here. So I would suggest everyone to make their own letter of explanation and explain why are they applying for a study permit extension right now. So another way you can use this client information section is to provide additional detail that you couldn't do in any other sections. For example, if you look at the IMM 5709 form that we filled earlier, there were only 3 boxes to provide your employment history. So you can use this client information form to provide additional employment history that you couldn't do in the IMM form itself. So you can just copy the same format and provide the details over here. For example, I wrote I'm providing additional employment history here as there was not enough space on the IMM 5709 form and I disclosed my employment history. So combine all this together and upload in the client information section. If you think there are anything that could help the visa officer to know better your application, you can upload related documents in the client information section. Now if you have everything like all the documents ready with you, start uploading it. Remember, if you are someone who is changing your DLI or changing your study program, you should get a new Provincial Attestation Letter. Also in this section of letter of acceptance, if you have studied at any other education institution while in Canada, you must include proof of studies such as transcripts, certificates or diplomas since your last study permit. Please note that you must also submit a letter of acceptance if you will be continuing your studies at a new institution. If you are one of those applicants who is doing 1+1 program and you finished 1-year program and you are applying for 2nd-year program study permit, you should include the documents related to your previous study in Canada with this application. Now after all the documents are uploaded,
just check it again. You can see the uploaded file name here. Make sure the correct file is uploaded. Scroll down and click on next. This will again show the documents that we uploaded and summary of fees. You have to pay 150 Canadian dollar for this application. Scroll down, click on I agree. Enter your given name and last name. Provide an answer to a security question and click on sign. That will direct you to a secure page where you have to pay your application fee, and after paying your application fee, your application will be submitted to IRCC. You'll get a submission confirmation mail in your IRCC secure account. That means your application has successfully submitted.
If you apply before your study permit expires, you are under maintained status. This means you can keep studying while you wait for IRCC to process your extension. Some of the mistakes that can ruin your application are applying too late, missing to upload required documents, and not uploading updated documents. So double triple check everything. If your study permit has already expired, you must apply for a restoration of status within 90 days. It's a bit more expensive and stressful, so apply early. And that's it. Now you know how to extend your study permit without breaking a sweat. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with your friend who might be panicking right now. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comment section and I'm here to help. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, take care and good luck in your Canadian immigration journey.